Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. This is Beer Guys Radio. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about beer news and other things, fun inventions, all kinds of crazy stuff over a cold craft beer. With that said, we're going to jump into the show here. We are missing Mo Mike Nate today, so I'm pulling double duty as host and producer. So give me just a minute to get my ducks in a row and we'll get rolling. Brian, you ready to rock?
I am so ready.
Let's
Born
do
ready.
this. All right. Welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Thanks for joining us, hanging out, having a cold beer and some conversations. I am Tim Dennis. Brian Hewitt, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Doing okay?
I nearly froze to death, but fortunately I
Yeah.
have a lot of whiskey in my collection and I've been drinking that to stay
Whiskey.
warm. So, yeah.
I heard, I know they show like those Saint Bernards, like the ski rescue dogs, and they always have the,
Yeah.
the, the barrel in there. But I heard that's not whiskey's not like it warms you up when you drink it, but really, alcohol thins your blood. So maybe it's an emergency thing. Like first aid isn't meant to fix the problem, it's meant to stabilize it until you can get. So maybe you get the shot of whiskey, you feel warmer initially, and they can get you to somewhere that's actually warm.
I wonder if it may depend on how much of it you drink. And I think it was schnapps and not whiskey. And schnapps
Okay, that would
is a
make
high
sense.
sugar concentration
Okay,
content. So like a lot of sugar blasting into your system would actually raise your temperature because you're
I
going to
guess it
start
could
immediately burning that
get
sugar.
that up
So
there. All right.
yeah,
Maybe those dogs knew more than I thought they did, man. I
it's
guess
it's
they.
again, it's I think there's something to it because I know I saw the same kind of thing that you're talking about. It's like,
Yeah,
well, the alcohol really won't warm you up. I'm like, but if it's full of sugar, it probably will because
that's
you're gonna
possible.
burn that.
A
So
barrel full,
yeah,
a dog running around on the ski mountain with a barrel full of schnapps. I
it's
just
just like
love the concept of that.
I think it's great. I think it's right. You know what he needs
Yeah,
is like a simple syrup tap and the schnapps. Like, this one's really cold. Let's sweeten it up
yeah.
a little bit
Let's
for him.
take
Yeah,
care of him.
yeah.
Teach these dogs to bartend.
That's
Make some.
yes,
Be
yeah.
like, I will have a fuzzy navel, please. They're like,
That's
sir,
right.
you're literally freezing to death. So
So, yeah,
don't judge me, dog. You serve the drinks. You don't judge.
as the person who's freezing to death, I get to choose what I drink,
That's
and I
right.
say
That's
fuzzy
right.
navel or sex on the beach if you've got that. So, uh,
These dogs out there not making the cocktails we want.
no.
Well, Brian, let's get into some beer talk. Our beers of the week. What are you getting into today?
Yeah, so I pre-gamed with Von Trapp's Pilsner, which Mo McNate brought back, and I'd actually forgotten I had them, and I found some, and I nearly cried when I saw them. I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful. Anyway, yeah, the Von Trapp's Pilsner is a thoroughly delightful Czech Bohemian Pilsner. Really enjoy it. I was looking at the notes, and like something particular about it I really enjoy. It might be the straw character to it. That like it says it's like a very straw
Yeah,
forward type of like I might like beer or pilsners that taste
maybe
a
I
bit
do
like
like
straw.
straw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe I'm a horse or a
yeah,
cow. I don't
I
know.
could see
Yeah,
it. I could
yeah,
see
it's
it. Yeah.
possible. Now I'm drinking Mast Landing's Pantless Thunder Goose, which has an ostrich on the thing, so that's a Pantless Thunder Goose. It is a 2022 World Beer Cup gold medal winner in the hazy Imperial India Pale Ale category. So that's drinking nicely, and I will round things out at the end of the show or in the Patreon after party with the Boulevard's Barrel Aged Baltic Porter, which is also a big one. It's an Imperial Baltic Porter aged in bourbon and red wine barrels. And I like beer, especially dark beers that went into red wine barrels. So
I do
really
as
looking
well.
forward to that.
I
Yeah.
do as well. We've talked about it a few times, but that beer we got, I think it was 903 Brewers, maybe out of Texas, that
Oh, yeah.
it was chocolate and red wine, and it just came together so extremely well. It was just a fantastic beer. But and
Wasn't it
that
like a
Von
Sasquatch something or other? Yeah.
that sounds right. That
Yeah.
sounds right. I don't remember if that was one of the Sasquatches, but I know that was kind of their base stout that they did a bunch of different variations of. So it was good, whatever it was. Red wine, chocolate, beer. It works, Brian. It just
Yeah,
works.
it did. I think I found it. Bordeaux Barrel Aged Sasquatch Opus 1 from 2018. And we had them on the show as a result of
That
us
sounds
getting our
good.
hands on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a crazy name too. Yeah, I loved it. To give it a 4. Chocolate port raisins wine delicious. That's what I said. So,
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, Brian, move into the news. We got a beer release to talk about here, and we don't talk about a lot of those, but we do have some news from Sierra Nevada that they've got a beer that's getting a quote unquote national release.
Yeah. I got this from a Forbes article from our friend Don Tess. He gave it national. It's not quite national, but anyway, the chances are pretty good you've never heard of Sierra Nevada's Celly Drippins. That's Celly Drippins without the drippings, without the G. I didn't even really know it existed until just recently, like reading this article. It's Sierra Nevada's rarest, most limited beer that actually gets an annual release. So it comes out, but almost nobody ever sees it. And it's never outside of one of their tap rooms, the Mills River one specifically. Well, this year, what started as a secret beer intended for employees and a few lucky visitors to a Sierra Nevada tap room is getting an official release at both public tap rooms, Mills River, North Carolina, and Chico, California, hence the national part of it. So it's both coasts, basically. And now I bet you're wondering, what this rare beer is and if it's hoppy, because this is Sierra Nevada we're talking about. It's probably going to be hoppy. Celly Drippins is an IPA that's brewed with the highly concentrated liquid collected from the hop bags used to brew Sierra Nevada's Celebration Fresh Hop IPA. And that's the reason it's so rare. It takes roughly 5,000 glasses of Celebration to yield one glass of Celly Drippins. That's how very little there is of this going around. So if you'd like to try it, and I know I definitely would, you will need to head to either Sierra Nevada tap room between November 21st and the 24th. It's an entire week-long thing. Starting at 3 p.m. each day, they will be pouring Celly Drippins until the day's allocation runs out. And they won't be doing a growler or can sales of Celly Drippin'. So this is on-site enjoyment only. I was reading some discussion about it. Rumor has it that in previous years they did do growler sales, which meant this beer was gone like within an hour. Like it was just gone the entire amount. So they're not doing that anymore. And if making the trip to Chico, California or Mills River, North Carolina is going to be a little tough for you, Sierra Nevada is hosting a sweepstakes offering an all expenses paid trip for two to the Mills River release event. So you may have to Google Celly Drippin's sweepstakes to find it. The URL's a little long and
It's long, a little
complex.
tricky.
So yeah. But yeah, go check that out. I didn't see an expiration date on it, and we've got a few weeks, so presumably you don't have a lot of time left before they announce it. But get over there and check that out if you're interested in going and doing it. I nearly did, but I'm like I've got work commitments and I've got other plans for travel, so I couldn't do it even if I wanted to. But I nearly filled it out. Yeah.
That's interesting though that they call it a national release, and it's really just a couple of tap rooms. I mean, okay, one's in California, one's in North Carolina, so technically,
Well, and I got to say that was that was in the title of the Forbes article that I read. So I don't think they
yeah,
were really saying national.
I got you.
I
Okay,
think they were being clever at Forbes. So yeah,
okay, all right,
yeah,
Forbes, all right, Don Tess,
yeah,
we get what you're doing there.
yeah.
They've done some other fun beers that they've released at their tap rooms. They did the French's mustard collaboration. We actually got
Oh
to
yeah,
try that one.
yeah.
That's our friend DigiDude Nate went up there for the release up to Mills River and got a 6 pack or more of it. I don't remember, but he happened to be around and joined us for one of our Oktoberfest shows one year and
That's
brought a
right.
can of that in. And it it was not bad. For like a mustard beer, you would not expect it to be honestly, I wouldn't have expected it to be even palatable, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's I guess it was acceptable.
Well, we know that because we accidentally brewed a mustard beer.
We
We just
did.
used spruce tips to accomplish the mustard.
And
Wasn't
that
it spruce
would
tips?
it was spruce tips. I
Yeah,
don't know what we did. Maybe you got the tips off a mustard plant on
I think
accident,
so.
Brian, but it did not work out for us. And that one was unpleasant to drink.
It really was. Yeah, that was unfortunate. It was such a great concept
Yeah,
too, but
and I
I don't
don't
even
think we
remember
ever
what it
tried a
was. Yeah,
spruce tip beer again. I don't think we ever gave that another shot.
we never made one ourselves, but I drink them every chance I get, and most of
Yeah,
them are good. They range from good to very good. So yeah, I'm always on the lookout for a spruce tip beer.
sprucey. Good stuff, man. Well, Brian, over at New Belgium, we've got some news here. As you know, New Belgium is one of the breweries that kind of pioneered sour beer in America there. And speaking of pioneering, one of the pioneers of sour beer at New Belgium is going to retire.
Yes, yeah. So Lauren Woods Limbaugh or Limbach, I'm not sure how she pronounces her name honestly, but I'm going to go with Limbaugh. She's the wood cellar director and blender for New Belgium Brewing. Is retiring in January after 28 years with the company. 28 years with New Belgium. I'm not used to hearing. I don't think of New Belgium
Anybody
as being.
anywhere anymore. You don't
Yeah,
hear that, right?
yeah, yeah. I'm like nobody retires after 28 years or whatever like that. But I didn't even think New Belgium was that old. I mean, I knew they were. It just doesn't feel like it. But anyway, Limbaugh joined New Belgium back in 1996 as an assistant to the brewers. Interestingly, she studied gerontology in school, which is a branch of science dedicated to the study of the aging process. So she was kind of destined to work in like a barrel program. She did a lot in her 28-year tenure, including establishing New Belgium's sensory program, and she ran the Wood Cellar program and led the Lips of Faith series. She is credited with developing influential wood-aged sour beers, including La Folie, Le Terroir. It's really hard with these French words, but that's her favorite one, according to the article, and Transatlantique Creek. These beers introduced a lot of people to traditional wild and sour Belgian styles. She also didn't feel restricted to beers directly tied to traditional Belgian styles. She liked to, quote, go to a completely different world, unquote, with her innovations. And accordingly, her final beer with New Belgium is going to be called Lauren's Last Word. It's described as an impossible blend inspired by the classic four-part Last Word cocktail. It will feature 33 fruits, flowers, herbs, and spices. And the Last Word cocktail, in case you didn't already know this, is an equal parts cocktail with four ingredients: gin, chartreuse, maraschino liqueur, and lime juice. I've made a lot of this one because it's equal parts, so it's very easy to make. I'm a fan. I kind of hope I get to try the beer because making a beer that's inspired by chartreuse sounds very that's shooting for the moon there. That's going for it because that seems like that would be a hard thing to get and have it taste right. But
I was going to
yeah,
say, even if you get it to taste right, it's still not going to appeal to everyone
true.
with
That's
that.
going to be
So
herbal.
chartreuse is not something that it's not universally loved there, Brian.
Yeah, I mean the people who dig it, I'm a fan. Like it's herbal
Yeah.
AF as the kids might say. But yeah, I mean, but it carries a lot of sweetness with it too. Actually, there
Well,
are
I'm looking at so all the things you've got in here is going to cut that. Gin's going to, of course, it's got its aromatics there that's going to go. The green chartreuse is intensely, herbal and aromatic. But if you got maraschino liqueur, that's going to bring a lot of sweetness to
yep,
it, and
cherry
then some
sweetness. Yeah,
acidity from the lime juice. So I could see that balancing things out pretty good.
it,
And then
it
you add some wild beer, whatever they choose for the culture blend there. I see it having potential.
I think so. Yeah, I think this could be really, really interesting. And I'm a fan of, like I said, I'm a fan of this cocktail. It's an easy one to make. I have all these things and I make it fairly frequently. So I really want to get my hands on this one. So I don't know if this is going to be one that I get. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of a different brewery that sends me emails about buying. So I'm hoping it makes it out of the tap room. We'll see. Maybe not, maybe. But if it does, I'm definitely going to get it. ISO, Tim.
We'll keep an eye
ISO.
out. We'll
Yeah.
keep an eye out, Brian, for sure. Brian, moving on to some not so great news. This was actually pretty disappointing when we heard about this. I think it's kind of end of an era kind of thing. But as most people in craft beer know, craft beer fans, Monster Brewing purchased, several breweries and things. One of those being Cigar City Brewing, and they have announced that they are shutting down the Cigar City Tampa location.
Yeah, the tap room and production facility on Spruce Street in Tampa specifically, and they're closing it down when the lease expires in March of 2026. So not far off. That is the location of the now infamous Hunapoo's Day that temporarily killed the event, like for a year or two, I think. It's the one where they let a lot of people in with fake tickets and then blame the attendees for being mad about not having the beer they were promised when they purchased the tickets. And yeah, I remember because I was in that crowd and we had issues with
It
our
was a
beer.
mess
But
that year. Yeah,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
a
and
mess.
people were like, "You guys are terrible." I'm like, "No, they really screwed that one up." But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, this is the location that was repurposed back in March of 2024 from a production hub to a cross-category R&D hub. So all crazy, anything Monster's making was going through this. That resulted in the elimination of 12 jobs, most notably the original brewmaster, Wayne Wombles, who has not been with the company for quite a while. And I'm trying to think of what Griffin and something or other
Is
up in
it
the
Griffin and
Carolinas.
Falcon or
I think,
something like that?
yeah,
So I will find. Go ahead, Brian.
yeah.
I'll get
Anyway,
the.
while you're doing that, Cigar City operations will move to an Ybor City space that's currently occupied by Cigar City Cider and Mead, which is a separate entity not owned by Monster. Interestingly, Cigar City Cider and Mead is still owned by Joey Redner, the founder of Cigar City. Apparently, when he sold off the other part of Cigar City, the beer part, he did that so he could get into cider and mead. But work at the Ybor City location will focus on research and development, much like the other place. They'll have taproom sales and special releases for the Tampa market. So before the Spruce Street location closes in March, Monster says they plan to host some celebratory events, including Tampa stuff for Tampa Bay Beer Week activities, and one final Hunapoo bash is going to honor the location. So they're going to have one final one there. I think that they actually moved a lot of the subsequent Hunapoo days when they brought it back. I think they moved it to other places because they got quite large and they did a better job of managing it. So it'd be interesting to go back there and do Hunapoo Day one last time at that place. I'm sure it would be just a
one
bit
last
different.
hurrah there.
Yeah.
One last hurrah. So the way they did Hunapoo's Day was definitely a mess. It was a mess. The time we were down there, and overall, Tampa Bay Beer Week is a really good time for craft beer. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff down in that area. Unfortunately, a lot of them have closed, recently. But, despite the debacle at Cigar City for Hunapoo's Day, I had a great time, for the weekend that we were down there. We had a lot of we had friends come in really from all over the country to join up with us. We had some friends in Florida that joined us as well. But, we hung out and had a good time. We had I heard that one of the things they did was allowing people to buy like a large quantity of the beers. And there was a big issue there from people who I don't remember what Cigar Studies Club is called, like their insider club thing.
Oh, the Catador Club, I think.
It is. Yeah. So they were like limited to 2 bottles or something like that, but they were letting people buy like cases of them at the Hunapoo's Day. And they're like, wait a minute, we pay to be part of the club here, and we can only get 2 bottles, and you're just letting people at the Hunapoo's Day just buy cases of it. So, and they ran out. They ran out. So it was not a fun thing there. But to back up to talk about Wayne Wombles and even back a little further to give some beer history here. So Wayne's brewery is Griffin and Sphinx. And is it's outside of Asheville, North Carolina. Brevard is where the brewery is. And his location was previously Upcountry Brewing. And Upcountry was founded by John Cochran, who was one of the original founders of Terrapin Beer Company here in Athens, Georgia. And when Miller purchased Terrapin, John decided to leave and start his own brewery. So he left and went to Brevard and started Upcountry. And I know there was another brewery there before John turned it into Upcountry, but I forget which that one was. But so there's the kind of the line there. And Wayne actually, I don't think he got his start. I don't think he got his start in Georgia, but he brewed at Buckhead Brewing.
That's right.
Here,
that's right.
Which was a short-lived brew pub in Georgia. So lots of tie-ins there together. So yeah, Wayne, it didn't take him long. I liked that he opened his own brewery because I figured someone would snap him up. Even with the craft beer climate, a brewer like Wayne Wombles, I didn't figure it would take long, but I think him having his own place is really the best case scenario on that. And I actually haven't tried their beers yet, but I saw that either they are doing or did an event here at Brickstore Pub where they were going to feature the Griffin and Sphinx beers.
I was hoping I would get a chance to make it down there and try that. I also saw that, but it was one of those things, hey, it's midweek, and man, Atlanta midweek.
Tough to do beer events midweek. It is.
Yeah. Especially if you've got a day job. If you just can sleep in and there's nothing else going on, no problem. No problem at all.
Right. And I'm a suburbanite, so it's a 2-hour just driving. I got 2 hours in.
That's right.
That's not going to work, especially during rush hour, man. That's just absolutely not going to work. So Yeah, a bummer. Cigar City closing down. Legendary place. Good times were had there, and unfortunately, just another sign of how craft beer is doing. And
Yep, sadly, it's the way
nothing
it's
good
going.
has come out of these big company acquisitions of these great craft breweries.
Honestly, not a thing. Not a thing.
Nothing
Seriously,
at
people
all.
talked about. I think there was a lot of talk about how, with Goose Island and what they didn't expect and how that didn't go as well as they'd planned. But honestly,
Yeah.
Goose Island has the best go of it of
Out of
any
it.
beer
Yeah,
company
they
that's ever
have.
been bought out. All the rest of them have been really thoroughly manhandled. But Goose Island's been treated
Yeah.
like royalty. So
Well, you
thank goodness for that.
look at Stone, look
Oh yeah.
at Stone, of course, Cigar City's another one. You've got what's the one Sapporo killed?
Oh, Anchor.
Anchor Brewing and that.
Yeah, they
So
euthanized Anchor very unceremoniously
Ballast
too.
Point. Ballast Point was
Yeah.
another one that was
Yeah.
huge, and just man, so many stories that these companies getting in. And Brian, I will say this, and I don't know any details, but I think one big thing with craft beer that even so we knew some craft brewery owners that were in it as just a business. Like they were running it like they're looking at the ledger at what's going on. And of course you have to watch the numbers. But with a craft brewery, there's a lot more to it than that. People get invested in their craft breweries because of the soul of the brewery. They make good beer. They vibe with the brewery there. And we've seen places that just didn't have a soul, man. They were ginger breweries or something. But and I think
Ginger
that's it,
breweries.
is that when these corporations take over, no matter how much you try, you just can't keep the same spirit there that you had.
Well, that's true because if you go by what the books say, you are going to eliminate some beers that people really love just because
Sure.
they don't sell. Like
Absolutely.
if there's a fantastic saison out there that's made that the true fans really enjoy and they will come out and drink, and like a couple of people drinking it every time they come out is not enough to sustain it. It's going to
Yeah.
be whatever is
Yeah.
mass market, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So there will be decisions made when you're craft about things that are based off of more than just the bottom
What
line
the
for
books
it.
say. Yeah.
The problem is you can go too far with that and
You
actually
can.
that's what happened with Orpheus. They were making these just amazing barrel aged stouts, but they weren't making money on any of it. They were maybe breaking even. That was like pure passion, like that was
If
going on there.
Orpheus
Unfortunately, that's doesn't pay the bills.
It doesn't. If Orpheus had had a smaller space where they could focus on those kinds of beers and serve the community that loved those, because there were plenty of people that absolutely loved them, but probably not enough to take care of. Orpheus Brewing had a large space in a high cost area in
Oh
Atlanta.
yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't cheap just to keep the doors open there, and they didn't really have like a flagship. A lot of breweries that are successful, a great one I can think of right now, founded in my town, Reformation Brewing. And Reformation, they started in a little industrial park like so many breweries did, a decade or more ago. And they really didn't have, their tasting room was kind of an afterthought because at the time the laws in Georgia only allowed you to kind of come in and get a few samples there. So that's the way they started. But they grew, they moved to a new location in the heart of our downtown area. Here locally, they're absolutely loved. And Brian, you and I were down in that area this weekend or last weekend, and you see all these other breweries that you go to on a Saturday and they may be slow in that. There were hundreds, literally hundreds of people there.
People
It was
everywhere. It
absolutely
was
packed out.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
so they opened another small satellite location in another town. They opened another one in another town. And they just announced today on social media they're opening another location in another. All of these towns are metro Atlanta, so they're still within a large geographic area, but they're smaller suburban towns. And if you get in a place like that, then you know what? They figured out the formula that works for them, man. They go
Yeah.
in, they become part of the community, and they're crushing it. So, others are struggling and they're opening location number 4 or 5 at this
They would
time.
they're
So
kind of smart because they went into an area where a lot of there were breweries, but like 3 closed in that area or something like that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's nothing left. They were all like I think a lot of those opened up back before you could do much with a tap room, so a lot of them were geared towards volume and not geared towards, hey, let's serve the local people here. Let's get people in
Right.
here who can populate a tap room and sell some beer and keep us running. Now they were looking for making the next High Lie or the next Tropicalia, the next one that's on every in every store and on every tap, and yeah, that's just not happening these days. Those are taken over by other beers. There's not a lot of
Right.
room for volume right now.
And Reformation has focused on what I'd say is drinking beers. Beers that
Yeah.
appeal to the everyman, and that's something with us being craft guys that are looking for. Brian, maybe you're looking for this super grapefruit pine bitter bomb, or I'm looking for something that's sour enough that your teeth crack when you take a sip of it. We're the anomaly here, and for
Oh
the
yeah.
most part, it's not us that's going to keep the doors open on a brewery, with that, because and another thing, we're drinking, every beer is from a different brewery a lot of the time.
That's true.
So,
Yes.
these are the kind of breweries that get people that they say, I drink Reformation IPA. That's my beer. I've got 2 cases of it in the fridge where my friends come over and they're going down to the brewery on their weekend and hanging out and drinking the same thing. So,
I mean, that does make it easy. Like I could just go buy a couple of cases and never wonder.
sure,
There's
no
no
doubt.
agonizing. What am I gonna drink? I'm like, that's getting a little old.
Yeah.
I need to get into that. I kind of might. Do I feel like I don't feel like that right now? I do want to drink that. I'm saving that until I can meet up with some people. Yeah, if you have your one beer, like you buy and you fill up whatever cool space you've got, and you want a beer. There's no agonizing over it. You just grab that one and you're good to go. So I can respect that.
It's
I can
like the
definitely
movies. They
respect that.
walk in and they just say, "Let me get a beer." They don't
Ex-
say it.
they don't
That's
even
it.
say you which one.
The
Yeah,
bartender doesn't ask for any clarification or anything. He's just like, "I got you, man. Here's a
I got
beer."
I got respect for that. I've got too many fancy, interesting ones, but I still get excited about Selly Drippins and things like that. I'm like, I
Yeah.
really want that. I want to try that. That sounds amazing.
Or a
I like
six
the
pack from Quick Trip.
yes, yeah, and I maybe that'll become my beer tip. Maybe I'll just have a fridge full of
Little quitting time,
quitting
man.
time from Quick Trip.
Get done with the day, clock out,
It's
and
quitting
grab a
time.
quitting time. Good stuff, man.
Yes.
Good stuff. Well, Brian, before we move along, how about we give a shout out to our sponsor, Truck and Tap, who is right next door to Reformation Brewery in downtown Woodstock.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And they were pretty busy.
They were
They were
packed, man.
swamped.
They
Yeah, they had
were.
people
Yeah.
all around the outside.
My
That whole
town's hip
downtown
like
area.
that, Brian. My town is just as
Crazy.
cool as you can get.
I love seeing that. So, anyway, technically it's still fall, but the weather has been sending a clear, ice cold message. It doesn't care what the calendar says. It's winter, baby. So I say all bets are off. I'm not judging anyone anymore for drinking their Christmas beers right now. Gingerbread Belgian quads for lunch, sure. Santa Claus for breakfast, absolutely. Drink them if you got them. I'm not going to have anybody freezing to death on my watch. So with that in mind, here are my beer picks for the week. At Truck and Tap Woodstock, I'm going with New Realms Oaxaca Chaca again. I've recommended this before. This Mexican pastry stout is always a good choice and keeps getting gooder the colder it gets. And you'll get warmer the more of it you drink. And nice little chilly heat to that. At the Duluth location, I'm going with Reformation. We're speaking of Reformation. Reformation's All In IPA, which is a collaboration with Truck and Tap, which makes sense because they're right there. Well, not at the Duluth location, the Woodstock location. But anyway, it's a West Coast IPA loaded with strata and crush hops that benefits local causes. The warmth you feel drinking it is from doing something good, and also the alcohol. Also, and at Truck and Tap Alpharetta, my pick is Bold Monk's Anchor of the Soul, which is a big boozy barley wine with notes of caramelized sugar and toasted bread, but also a resinous wave of American hops because it's an American-style barley wine. And that will warm Tim up because he is such a fan of the American-style barley wine.
That's so
I could
true.
see you warming up already. And finally, at the Lawrenceville location, I'm going with Victory's Golden Monkey. That's right, another Belgian triple this week. This one has a lot of yeast-driven flavors like clove and bananas, and it has a dangerously hidden alcohol. I think you should go drink some and seek that alcohol and see if you can find it. It may take you a couple. And there you have my beer picks for the week. As always, if you'd like to see the full tap list before stopping by, take a look at truckandtap.com. The taps change quickly. You never know what great new beer might go on, and maybe some of these will go off by the time you get there. And if you'd like to see what the food trucks are serving and what events are happening, trivia, karaoke, various seasonal events that may pop up, You can find that at truckandtap.com too. Everything you need to know can be found at truckandtap.com. So check that out. And thank you to Truck and Tap for your support.
Thank you, Truck and Tap. We greatly appreciate it. Well, Brian, you know, unfortunately, we've talked about this before, but due to some health concerns, I can't enjoy beers the way I did. Possibly because I used to enjoy the beers the way I did, is where I am now. I
Probably.
mean,
Yeah.
possibly part of it at least. But maybe Carlsberg's thinking of me when they made this, Brian. Maybe Carlsberg is thinking Tim needs a cold one at the end of a long day, but he's got to take it easy. So Carlsberg has made the world's smallest beer.
I think they were thinking of you and also Gen Z, so they could probably enjoy this beer before they go to
Enough
bed
they
at
could kick
8
back.
p.m.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
stuff, man. Good
Yeah, yeah.
stuff.
So yes, Carlsberg has created the world's smallest beer. It's a collaboration with the Research Institute RISE (RISE) and a glass company called Glass Components and a miniature artist. They say the goal here is to use the tiny size and the non-alcoholic content of the beer. It's not even alcoholic, interestingly enough, to inspire and remind people to drink more responsibly and moderately. And we're talking about a very, very small beer here. It's a very tiny bottle. The bottle is about 12 millimeters tall. About I had AI do the math for me. It's about 0.47 inches, so about that tall, and it contains 0.005 centiliters, or about 0.00017 ounces of a specially brewed non-alcoholic beer. Yes, they did brew something for this. It's basically a single drop of beer. It's not much larger than a grain of rice, but the beer has a detailed label and a sealed cap. It's a legitimate bottle and a very real label. So, but they're not stopping there to encourage boundary pushing thinking. Carlsberg is sponsoring a competition with KTH Royal Institute of Technology, challenging students across Sweden to create an even smaller beer, because I guess we need even smaller beers than that.
Okay.
If that's too much for you, like maybe get a half-sized one. But the winning student receives 10,000 in the local currency, which is about 1,057 US dollars, and a visit to the Carlsberg Research Laboratory in Copenhagen. So that'll be interesting. If I see a smaller beer than this, and it's really small, I'll talk about it. I will. So good luck.
It's small enough that I can't really visualize how much it is. You know, like 0.005 centiliters, 0.00017 ounces. I don't
Yes.
know how much that is, Brian. I mean, you could show me like a drip from a hypodermic needle and say that's how much that is, and I'd be like, okay. Or you could show me like a quarter teaspoon and be like, that's how much that is. I'd be like, okay. Either one of those could be right. I don't know.
Looking at the picture, because somebody has it balanced on their finger, so
Well,
it looks like it might be larger than grain of rice, and it looks like they say a
that's what
drop.
I was thinking. That's what
Yeah.
I was like, judging by the picture, they say it's smaller than a grain of rice. Are those baby fingers there possibly?
They could be the shortest person in the world's fingers. It
Man,
could be child's fingers. Yeah.
They really should have picked better fingers for that picture so we had some skill. I need a banana. I need a banana in the picture. Set that tiny beer on top of a banana and get me another picture, please.
That's a really good point. They really should have involved a banana.
Yes,
Like, this is the
should have been
standard.
there.
Everybody knows this internationally. You put a banana in there. That's how you know.
That's how we know. It is an established unit of measurement comparison. Absolutely.
I wonder if somebody's actually going to drink this. Like, they've made it. Like, somebody needs
Well,
to just...
I'm thinking, I'm like, I'd love to get one, but I'm thinking, I just feel like you'd snap that tiny bottle in half if you tried to take the cap off.
Well, you need the world's tiniest opener to open it.
Gosh, this is too much work already, Brian. I don't know what to do with this.
Does
thing.
it come in the tiniest little 6-pack holder? Like,
It should.
I want to see the little...
It should. I need a tiny glass.
Yeah,
that's
a tiny.
You know what, Tyler's still throwing me curveballs, man. He said they could use mini bananas in it, and then I still wouldn't have any idea how big it is.
What's the candy that actually has like fake bananas?
Runts.
Yeah. So they use a runt banana. You're like, wait a minute, how big is that? Like,
yeah. Do you want to hear a really stupid and random story about Runts candy since you brought it up, Brian?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
When I was a young lad, Willy Wonka Candy Company, which I don't know if they're still that brand. I know Runts are still around, but they had a club you could join, and you got stuff like coloring pages and little trinkets and this and that, and they would send you out candies. And a lot of times you would get to test the new candies before they launched, And so before Runts ever went to market, Brian, I got to try them. They sent me a little package with it was like only one of each shape of the Runts candies. So this was back in 1837
Got
that
it.
I
Yeah.
got to try that. So same difference. So yeah, there you go, Brian. Information that has absolutely nothing to do with what we were talking about.
That's pretty cool though. I
It
want
was
to
neat.
be.
It was neat.
I'd like to
Yeah.
test all these things before they come out.
I
It's like
wonder if
I
they
got to
still
try
do
that.
that kind of stuff for kids. Like when I was a kid, I used to also I'd get I think it's the World Almanac, and it had addresses for like all the sports teams and different actors and actresses, like who their agents were. And I remember writing to do you remember the show Knight Rider, Brian?
I do. Yes.
So I wrote to them and said I loved it, and they sent me a package that had it was like a small poster size cardboard picture of Kit, an autographed picture of David Hasselhoff,
Oh God.
and
Yes.
then a set of blueprints for Kit showing all the stuff that it had in that. I wonder if I had some of this old memorabilia, it would probably be worth money because uh, stuff like that. I wrote to NASA and they sent
Yes.
me some
Yeah.
space patches and different things. That stuff's really, I bet that stuff still exists. I'm just not, I just don't do that anymore because I'm an adult. So
Yeah.
now I'm
That's
writing to beer companies. I'm your biggest fan, beef jerky places. So
I know people that will contact that collect coasters that actually will
yeah,
just write
yeah,
to breweries and like, can you send me some coasters? I'm a big fan. I'm or not even a fan. I'm just collecting coasters, and I love
yep,
some of yours. And like, man, it's so easy to throw a couple of coasters in an envelope and
yeah.
mail it. When I was a kid, I know I wrote. I don't even know who it was too at this point, but it must have been the military, to the Air Force or whatever. I got like these glossy things of like different
Oh,
jets
yeah.
and things and specs that I didn't understand. But the glossy pictures, like high quality pictures of this stuff, I'm like, it blew my mind. I'm like, these are the coolest things ever. I'm like, this is great. I don't understand any of this, but maybe one day I'll fly one. Turns out no. Turns out no. The answer is that. But at the time, I thought it was very cool. So yeah, it was pretty neat.
Yeah,
I
that
love
was
that
kinda
stuff.
like the stuff that I got when I wrote to NASA. I got, big glossy pictures of the space shuttle and stuff like that, some, information on missions and different things there.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
so, yeah, adults out there, if you, haven't done that kind of stuff if you have done that kind of stuff with your kid, let us know if they still do that, because that's been many decades ago that I did that kind of thing.
Tyler's over there writing to Hormel Chili, and honestly,
Rock
I
on,
think I would
Tyler.
too.
Man,
Like
I hope you get your chili. I hope you get your free cans of
I
chili there.
I want a glossy, like a wall size poster of Hormel
Oh,
Chili.
sorry.
You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
Brian's looking for autographed posters of chili
I want.
cans there.
Can you get the
Yeah,
chili to sign it?
that's dear chili. I love you.
You're the best.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, Brian, Sam Adams. Sam Adams has some big news there. Sam Adams has winter seasonals, but what they haven't had is a new one in a long time, Brian. 30 years to be exact, but that's going to change.
Yeah, this feels like the good old days of craft beer when we celebrated all these new releases. But yes, yes, they have added Boston Beer has added Winter White Ale to their portfolio, the first new Sam Adams winter seasonal beer in 3 decades, 30 years. And if you're thinking, wait, isn't that already a thing? You are probably getting it confused with the longtime winter seasonal beer, Winter Lager. As for what you can expect from this new seasonal, they're calling it an easy drinking beer with orange peel, cinnamon, and nutmeg that's, quote, perfect for every seasonal moments, unquote. It clocks in at 5.7% ABV, and it will be available through January in a wide variety of formats, including 19.2 ounce long beers. I can hardly wait to drink.
A
You
long
know I'm going
beer.
to have this. The
Madness.
single serve long beers. I was thinking, I'll try this. This would be cool. And then I read that. I'm like, oh, I'm definitely trying this. They know they got me with that. So for those that are worried, Winter Lager isn't going anywhere. It will still be available in the Sam Adams Winter Break Variety Pack, along with Old Fezziwig, which is a classic, Cold
So
Brew Coffee Stout, which I don't think I've had that one from them before. So I'm interested in that, and the new Winter White Ale, of course. So there you go, something new from Sam Adams.
I didn't know that Old Fezziwig had been around that long. for some, because that was the one I knew. I knew the winter lager, and I knew Old Fezziwig, and I didn't realize that they'd been around that long.
Yeah, I wonder about that cold brew coffee styles. Like 30 years have they been
I don't
doing
feel like
that?
I've heard of that one before.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that. So,
So
but maybe it's been around just in more limited, or maybe I just didn't pay attention to. I feel like if I saw a cold brew coffee stout, that I would have known. I would have remembered that though.
I think this may be the permanence of this. So they might be
Hmm.
messing around with a little marketing on us, but
Okay,
this is coming from Brewbound, and I do trust them as
they
a
wouldn't
news
lie
source.
to
So
us, man.
they
Wouldn't
wouldn't.
lie to
Now
us.
they post press releases that may mislead us. So this possibly what's happening, but. Yeah, no, I think that the permanence of Winter Lager. Winter Lager has been around a long time. Old
Yeah,
Fezziwig, I remember seeing that. I know
back in
like
the day.
15 or 20 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been around
Okay.
for a long time. Some of the other ones, I'm like, are you sure about that? No, no new ones in 30 years. Maybe there's some technicalities that we're kind of working with here, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, it'll be cool. I'm interested in seeing a Sam Adams in that form in the long beer format. I don't think I've
Yeah.
seen any prior to this, so.
It seems like more companies are going for the long beers, Brian. Do you think your Twitter hashtag is what did it?
I take credit for all of that. Like
Sure, absolutely.
said, New Belgium, how well they're doing with
Yeah.
all the Juice Force stuff, and that's me. That's just me for my hashtag. Yeah,
And what was
definitely.
the one that you were talking about earlier this week? It's like is it oh, it's New Belgium, isn't it? Their new
Oh, the G
their new
Force.
yeah, their new G
Yeah.
Force. That's going to be a long beer, right? Like a
Yes.
15% or something, or
Yeah.
just something
All of those
crazy.
are. I think all of those are
You have to
basically.
bootleg that. I'll have to be contraband for you to drink it, Brian.
Well, I think it was. What did you say it was? I think it's
Was it
11%.
15? 11.
No, no, I
Okay.
think it's 11.
Okay.
I was joking that they say it's a. I think they say it's an imperial or a triple IPA, but I'm like, this might be a quad
It's hitting
IPA
quad
because
territory there. Yeah.
we do a lot of quad talking, quad IPA talking
Yeah.
on the on Discord. So a lot of love
We
for
got some
that.
quad
But
fans there.
it's getting up there. You're hitting double digits at I guess a little ways into it. So I think of Imperials being 9 or 10, but you're starting at 11, 12. Like, yeah, we might be getting into quad territory there with that.
Yeah.
But
That's
I'm
some
drinking
big
that when
stuff.
that shows up too. Obviously, yeah.
That's a lot of long beer, Brian. It's a strong.
Heck yeah.
Long and strong. Is
That's
what
right.
that one
Well,
is.
I got long weeks to make up for, Like I gotta
Yeah.
forget. I have a lot to forget over those weeks.
That's
So I need a
good.
long beer,
That sounds like a Malort ad like slogan. Malort, you've got a lot to forget.
That would be great. I kind of want to give that to them. Actually, I would love
Yeah.
to see them run with it.
Malort,
But
if you're listening, you can use that one. And for those who aren't familiar, if you haven't seen any of Malort's marketing, and this is from them. At one time, I thought it was like people making up stuff, making memes because of Malort's reputation. But no, this is coming from Malort. Like Malort, tonight's the night you're going to fight your dad.
yeah, that's right. That's the first one I was thinking about. Yeah,
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, Brian,
it's great.
as everybody who listens to the show knows, you and I are both what I would consider fashionistas.
Oh, for
And we're
sure.
always keeping an eye out for the latest trends in menswear. And this story may be a little hard to convey properly because I believe a visual aid would be very helpful with this one. But Brian, if you are both a beer fan and a fashionista such as us, we've got something for you.
Yeah, the nice thing about this is this went viral. So at least on Twitter, and I think it made it over into the other X, whatever, but other social media things. But the viral beer jacket, it's a guy in a like an Asian food hall, it looks like, and he's wearing a Tsingtao puffy jacket. And it's full of beer. It's clear. Anyway,
is.
yeah. So the tech commentator, the person who came up with this, I'm going to give them credit. Oricron on Twitter shared this is an AI generated image of a hollow, transparent puffer jacket filled with beer, and it has sipping straws or a sipping straw coming out of it, and that went to Twitter. It went viral. I think it was like 7.7 million views of it, and hundreds of thousands of likes and that sort of thing. So a lot of people actually did see this, so they'll know what we're talking about. Users quickly responded by making their own versions of the jacket. Jackets filled with other things like Dr. Pepper. I saw a Michelada one which is interesting. I think you'd
Was
like
there
that
one
tip.
full of chili for
There is
Tyler?
one full of chili.
Was
There's
there?
another.
Okay.
There was one full of chili. There's another one I saw that was full of pickles, like brine and pickles, and
Okay. All
and
right.
it had AI animation and had a little thing that you would open, a valve on the front where you could fish a pickle out. Interestingly enough, the brine didn't come out. This is why you know it's AI. Only the pickle, even
Okay.
though it was clearly
All right.
soaking in brine. So, like, I want that. I want one that dispenses pickles, but also does not hose me down with pickle brine when I open it up. I also saw a modified beer jacket with taps built into the sleeve, so you could
Oh
pour it with
yeah.
your hand very easily. And again, AI animated that very nicely, so it looked very believable. And of course, there were some bong jackets where the entire jacket
Of
was a
course.
bong, so that was cool. So bad news: the jacket is fake, of course. And despite what some people are saying, I think I saw some people saying this is a real thing. Like, no, it's not. They're trolls. Uh, the screenshots of the chili that you mentioned, there was a chili jacket, and somebody put screenshots of it. I saw a couple of different ones that were lower resolution. I think somebody actually constructed a jacket out of bags of chili and somehow was doing that to eat it or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the full context. I've not chased it down. That might be real. So there might actually be a real chili jacket out there. So a satirical post about it on Blue Sky that I saw from Brian Alberts from broodculture.org. He made a lot of really good points about the jacket and why this wouldn't be a very good thing if you actually got one. A lot of people want it. If it were real, it would be very heavy. You're basically hanging a keg on your torso. If you think about it, there's a lot of beer in this thing. The beer would also get quickly warm because of your body heat, and you would get very hot and very sweaty, so it would be very uncomfortable. So heavy and hot, and you'd be full of warm beer, and it would be flat from being sloshed around because it's sloshing around as you walk, and it's not airtight, so it's leaking out all the CO2. Other people pointed out that things would get really messy if you bumped into anything sharp. Your beer is going all over the place, yourself and everything else. And how on earth would you even properly clean this thing? Would be my question. You get beer into it. Is this a single serve thing? Like maybe this is something you pick up. It's like those disposable ponchos. I guess you could fill it up with beer and then throw it away. That ain't going to be great for the environment. That's a lot of plastic. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe worth it. I don't know.
I feel like Brian Alberts is a glass half empty kind of guy because I've got solutions for all heavy. So you think about it. If you had a keg of beer and you had a brace that distributed that week evenly over your midsection, you could carry that. Brian, let's
Yeah,
face it, you and I carry around kegs anywhere we go. All right. So
that's true. That's
fair
true.
enough, man. You could do this with just a little bit of leg day work and the weight thing, especially if it's in a jacket where the weight is distributed there. So that one's good. You're good on that.
You got a good point. If you wear this every day, you wear this is leg day. So
It's leg day, man. Yeah.
now
So
you're
this
working
gonna
out.
work out.
Yeah.
I already thought about it getting warm from the body heat. That makes sense. But we can do a couple of things here. First of all, we can have an insulation layer that goes
Okay.
against your body.
Oh,
Then on
like a
the other
chill thing.
side of
Yeah.
that, yes, then on the other side of that, Brian, a couple different solutions. If you want a temporary solutions, those instant ice packs like they come in first aid kits, or do
Oh
you know
yeah.
what? Just use the refreezable things.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
you throw them in there, and I've actually got some freezable ice packs that are flat. Like you've seen the ones I've used in my cooler. You can
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
slide them in the middle. So little pockets of insulation layer against your body, so you don't get cold and you don't heat up the ice packs. Refreezable ice packs slipped in there that keeps your beer cold. And the way the jacket's done is puffy, so the whole thing is full. But I think if you segmented it into each of the puffy areas, you can minimize the sloshing by having it full. And I don't see any reason why this can't be sealed, Brian. And instead of having just a straw where you're sipping it, pressurized like serving from a keg.
So you really could build in a tap to it, so
Yeah.
you wouldn't be
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Like I've got this, you know what a camelback is, right? For
Yeah.
hiking
Yeah.
water. So it's got a little spigot on there, Brian.
This is
So you
kind
can
of a beer camelback,
It's a beer
basically.
camelback. We've got all these problems solved. Yeah, there. So Brian Alberts, your brood culture there
So there.
with your glass half empty. We have solved all these problems. And Tyler, don't worry, we're thinking about you too, buddy. when we use the Hormel chili, we can use heat packs instead of cold packs.
Oh yeah,
So
that's a really
that's
good
taken
point.
care of. And the problem with slosh, you don't have to worry about that with chili. As a matter of fact, man, we might even be able to work in like a little dispenser that has those soup and oyster crackers,
Oh
or maybe
yeah,
some jalapeno slices in there. So yeah. And
little
if you
backpack
hang out,
dispenser
the
of these
two of you
things.
hang out together, you're set.
Yeah, seriously, you don't even need like a concessions truck. You could just walk around. Oh,
No.
this would be the greatest thing at sporting events. You need a
Yeah.
beer. Like if you build in a tap system, the guy could be walking around the jacket, just pouring it out of the jacket.
Yeah.
Who needs a beer? Who needs a beer? When your jacket goes flat, you got to go refill it.
We just need
That's
Nacho Man, and we've got this taken care of.
exactly.
We're
We
good to
need to figure
go.
that out. That's I don't know. Is it a giant hat or something? Like I don't know. Anyway,
Nacho hat? That makes sense to me.
so
That checks out, man. That checks out.
I think so. I think that's how that has to work.
Well, Brian, consider our next topic. You may think that we're actually doing some of this ourselves based on the way we've been talking here, but this is actually pretty big news. And you found out, Brian, that the Beer Institute is gunning for hemp and THC beverages. But above that, and I don't know if you got a chance to dive into this any, but they're actually looking on a federal level to ban hemp beverages. And I
Yeah,
believe it's
yeah.
passed the Senate. I don't think it's passed the House yet, but it is something to looking at. So, but people are gunning for hemp beverages, THC beverages from several different angles right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did look into that. I didn't have a lot of notes here in our show notes, but the Senate passed it. It effectively bans all hemp derived intoxicating THC beverages by closing that perceived loophole in the 2018 Farm Bill. It's redefining hemp to exclude all of these numerous intoxicating hemp products so that have emerged since the 2018 Farm Bill. It would make nearly all of these products illegal nationwide, and it's set if it actually goes through and passes the whole way through, the House and everything else, and gets signed by the president. It would make them illegal 365 days after passage. So we're looking at late 2026. It is heading to the House of Representatives as of the time we're talking about it. So that's happening in the background. But in the foreground, we have the Beer Institute, who weren't probably aware that this was happening. They're pressuring Congress to impose strict regulations on hemp-derived beverages that produce an intoxicating high, which is what that bill would do. Their argument is that these intoxicating hemp drinks exploit an unintended federal loophole, which is what we were just talking about. That loophole is allowing these products to grow and expand rapidly without consumer safety, taxation, and regulatory burdens that are faced by traditional alcoholic beverages like beer, which are also intoxicating. The Beer Institute argues that the current regulatory framework it's a patchwork. It leads to inconsistent protections, unclear labeling, and potential risks for users. They also argue that traditional alcohol faces well-established excise taxes, while at the moment hemp-derived beverages don't. Which gives them an unfair competitive advantage. Again, we're talking about a lot of the same customers here. We're looking for people that are looking to get a little intoxication, maybe a little buzz here. They argue that the beverages should be subject to even higher taxes than beer and more rigorous oversight, which is an interesting take. The Beer Institute is also pushing for a zero tolerance for impaired driving from THC and cannabinoid beverages until reliable roadside testing is available. And they want the application of public consumption rules that are similar to alcohol and tobacco for these beverages. And on top of that, the Beer Institute is urging Congress to either temporarily ban the beverages, which looks like it's going to happen, or swiftly create a comprehensive regulatory framework for them. So I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know what to make of this. I'm not sure what to think of this. I'm like, it is weird. It's unfair that they don't have any kind of a tax burden right now. But is this overkill? And is the right thing hitting them up with excise taxes, or is maybe to level the playing field if they're not banned? Is the right thing like maybe we drop some of the excise taxes for beer? Maybe we make. I know that won't be popular, but you're muted, Tim. Hey Tim, you're muted.
Brian, this is the tough thing for me here is I think that they should leave things alone for the most part. Adults there, I understand some controls. Don't let kids, don't have them next to the Kool-Aid at the grocery store. things like
Yes.
that. I understand some regulations, but for the most part, let people do the free market thing. I think most people knew that these, especially with the growth they have seen, would not be just totally unregulated, the way they have been. I think we all knew this loophole would be closed
Yes.
eventually there. So I think, the banning is going extremely far, extreme overkill, if adults want to drink a hemp beverage, let an adult drink a hemp beverage there. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Banning, man, I just can't believe this is a fight we're still fighting in 2025 with
I'm
this kind of
surprised
stuff.
by it, and I have to say, I don't like that these beverages are taking place from beer, like
Right.
your
Sure.
your chain
Yep.
stores. I hate it. I really do. I've tried a few of them. I have noticed anecdotally that they seem to be fairly reasonable about what they're doing. They're not going nuts. They're not doing like blackout cans. I'm like 5 milligrams of like THC and 5 milligrams of CBD, or at the high end like 10. And like they're producing the ones that are getting the ones that are actually getting sold at reputable shops are very reasonable and on par probably in terms of effects with a beer. So I'm like, I think a lot of the argument here, I understand why they're doing it, because really it actually is killing beer, because it's cheaper, it's easier to get, and it right now has a health halo around it, so everybody thinks this is good for you, whereas beer is not. Not saying either is, but yeah, it does seem like it seems like it's taking it too far, and I am
It's too
surprised.
far. Yeah.
I would have said before, up to this, like up until recently, the cat's out of the bag. You can't. It's never going to not be legal. But I, it's an our society is unpredictable right now. So I don't
Yeah.
know what could possibly happen with this. I would have thought for sure that now this has happened, it's done. It's out there. The world has not ended, and people are going to say, you know what? This is fine. This is fine.
Yeah.
Let's not make a big deal about it. Let's just put in whatever reasonable safeguards that people decide are reasonable, and
And the
move
reason
on
I
with our
say I
life.
struggle with it, Brian, is we talked about this. There was an issue in Georgia years back where we were trying to improve some laws for Georgia's breweries, and we found out that some people at a fairly well-known distillery were basically lobbying behind their back to not allow breweries to get these. I don't remember the exact thing, but they thought the breweries had an unfair advantage over the distilleries. And
Yes,
so they were working against that. So I was pretty outspoken about that. I have not consumed a beverage from that distillery since then. And just because I thought that's dirty pool, man, don't shoot the other guy in the foot because you don't like that he's got a leg up there. So,
yes,
and then here I feel hypocritical in thinking this is like, well, yeah, hemp's out there just, totally untethered, just kind of doing its thing. It is hurting craft beer, so I understand that. But again, the other side of me is leave them alone. It's like I hate the regulations that are on craft beer and the things that brewers have to deal with, but you don't want to bring the other guy down with you there.
I
But if you're so, I don't know. I'm a hypocrite in that. I'm going to shut up.
no. My argument is the other. Like, you know what? What's unfair? Let's remove that from beer. And
Yeah,
let's not hurt
sure.
them. Let's free beer to be more competitive with this, and they can both duke it out in the grocery store. Well, not grocery store, but the beer store shelf. Like I'm in favor of that. I know exactly what you're talking about. They were angry because breweries that for a while could get a distilling license and just bring in all of their juice, put it in a bottle,
Oh,
put their
that's
name
right.
on it,
Something
and like
along right,
they were
right.
pushing for you have to do X% of, I think it was like 49 or 50%. You have to make it, which is
Yeah.
effectively trying to kill. They were trying to get it so they couldn't do it, and I think they were trying to do it so it was very difficult for them to produce it. So effectively coming out with a bourbon was impossible for a young brewery, because bourbons take some number of years and some amount of aging. I guess you could do it relatively quickly, but it's not going to be any good. But you could get really good juice from places that produce it,
Just
and then put
repackage
your
it,
name
put the
on it
name on it. Yeah.
and just kill it. You really could. So yeah,
Crazy stuff, man. Crazy
yeah.
stuff. Well, y'all, that is our show for this week. Thank you so much for coming here and hanging out with us. If you enjoy what we're doing, we'd love for you to tell a friend to listen to the show and subscribe. If you really dig us, we definitely appreciate you dropping over to patreon.com/beer guys. We'll give you some cool swag. We'll get you in the Discord server, and we'll invite you to our after party. each week. Well, with all that said, we hope that you have a really, really good week. And don't forget to drink local. Cheers. Good stuff. Well, y'all, thanks for hanging with us. We appreciate it. Again, if you are one of our Patreon supporters, we're going to drop the link here in our Discord server. Come and hang out with us. Have a beer in the after party. But, let me see. Got to get it back over here with, yeah, y'all have a really good week, and we will see you next week. Cheers.